Hey there and welcome. It's Alfred. I'm going to now do a video to help you with the Microsoft Office class that we're going to be doing together. I'm going to do the first chapter of the entire book, the Develop Your Skills exercises together. And the chapter is really just giving you an overview to common features and functions that are in Microsoft Office, as well as what is Microsoft Office. So it's a very introductory video, but it'll also help you understand kind of how we get to the book and how we'll be doing classes in our distance learning type environment. So to get to the book, I open the internet. I like to use Google Chrome. So I'm going to open Google Chrome. The website for our online textbook is called bookshelf.vitalsource.com. I'm going to start to type it in the address bar here. And you'll notice it's suggesting it because I've been there before, but bookshelf.vitalsource.com. I'm going to press enter. I need to log in. I will have given you, I'm going to click save here. They often ask about cookies. It's okay to let them be there, or if you choose to opt out, you can opt out. The email and password I will give you on a sheet, so you'll get that information from me. It's not the same as the email that I'm using here. This is my own work-related one. I have a different teacher log into the website than students would. I'm going to put in the appropriate password. What I'm also going to do is turn on something that will highlight my mouse so you can see where I'm pointing a little bit. So the book that we're using is this one called Building a Foundation with Microsoft Office 2019 and 365. You may notice when you log in, there's a library of other books. My particular login has more books than some of the other logins, but here's like an individual word-only book that has the same chapters in the Office book and more. So they have the individual subjects as well. So some of you students who might want to focus on one particular subject, I can help try to give you access to the individual books as well. We just don't have as many licenses for those. So I'm going to go ahead and click the book here. And I have a separate video on how to use this website a little bit, but just as a quick way to get started, on the left-hand side are a few of your main controls. There's also a few controls down here in the bottom right. The most important one, in my opinion, is this one called Table of Contents. If you click it, it hides it or it shows it. And I mentioned that I wanted to do the very first chapter of the entire book with you, which is called The Big Picture. And it's basically speaking, introducing Microsoft Office. So I'm going to click this one. And I'm going to go to the chapter opener. And it's basically an overview chapter introducing Microsoft Office and common features. Now, before I actually do the lesson, I'm going to prepare you to the fact that when you use an ebook like this, you're going to want to make the book and the Office app that you want to use share the screen. So on a Windows machine, the easiest way to do that is I can point to the title bar here and start to drag down, and I can drag it off the right-hand side of the screen, and it automatically takes up half of the right-hand side of the screen. And in fact, I can even make it smaller if I want. I can also hide the table of contents now, so I can just focus on the book. If you want to make the font of the book larger or smaller, you can go to the big A, little a, and you can choose a font size. I think I'll choose this font size this time. And if you also click on anywhere kind of on the book page, this toolbar will re-show if you need it to show up. You can also navigate straight to a page number. So if in class I say, let's get to this page, you can also click in here and type a page number and get straight to that page, type it in and press the enter key. So according to what we're going to learn in this chapter, we'll describe the similarities and differences between Office 19 for desktop, Office 365, and Office Online, identify uses of cloud storage, which we're not really having you use in this particular class, but I am using it on my own machine. You'll identify parts of the Office user interface. That's really important in my opinion. You'll learn about spell checker because that goes through all the different apps and other review features. You'll identify Office features available through Backstage View. You'll use the Office Clipboard, in other words, cut, copy, and paste. You'll be able to format text, look for help, and do a screen, capture a screen. In other words, basically take a screenshot of your screen. So all these are skills that can be used in any of the Office apps. That's why it's an overview chapter. They used to put a lot of these materials embedded in with each chapter, and they were repeated in each subject like Word, then they repeat it again in Excel, then they repeat it again in PowerPoint, and then Access, which we don't teach Access, but students can learn it if they want. So I'm going to now move into the actual bulk of the chapter by clicking this little down arrow here. Now, I don't plan to do all this reading because I'd like you to do some of the reading on your own. I prefer to just kind of do the steps with you, but it'll give you an idea how the book works. The book often has a little bit of pre-reading, and eventually if you scroll down and reach a point where they have step numbers, it'll usually say develop your skills. So there's no actual step numbers in this portion. So I'll show it to you in the next portion. But to go real quickly, what is Microsoft Office? It's a software suite that enables you to create, format, revise, collaborate, and share files quickly across multiple devices. Microsoft Office 2019 suite for Windows includes Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneNote, Publisher, and Skype. A software suite is a collection of multiple apps. So when they say apps or applications, Word, Excel, and all those are the applications. They're produced by the same manufacturer, so they have a same common feel in the way that they work. So examples of that feel and the ways that they work are that they have now what's called a ribbon, a quick access toolbar, spelling and grammar checker, and different collaboration tools. What devices does Office work on? Well, Office, if paid for correctly, works on multiple devices from computers to tablets to cell phones. But you have to have a paid account to really be able to edit and work things efficiently on things like a phone or a tablet. If you don't have a paid version of Microsoft Office 365, it doesn't work so well on the tablets and the mobile phones. What storage does Office provide? Well, they now provide cloud-based storage, which means online storage. They happen to call it OneDrive, this word here, OneDrive Cloud Storage. And with your paid Office 365 account, you get 1 terabyte of storage, which is a lot, huge amount. So which version of Office should you buy? Well, Office 2019 is the last standalone version of Microsoft Office without being subscription-based. So it means you could buy it outright, approximately $150 or so, I forget exactly. And you own it, you download it, you install it, and it's yours. Office 365 is basically subscription-based. It has all your desktop apps, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., but it just constantly updates to the newest and brightest. It's subscription-based, so you pay either a yearly fee or a monthly fee. It's a little cheaper by the year. This is being discussed in these different bullets that I'm not reading very extensively. And then there's Office Online, which is online-only versions, which is completely free, but they're streamlined, so they don't have all the full functionality of the desktop apps. So a good place for some people to start is if you don't even have Microsoft Office on your computer, but you really need to use Word, try Office Online first. We don't cover it much in this class. It's unfortunate, but hopefully if the class gets a few more weeks or a few more hours, it'd be better to cover the online aspects. So if you want more detailed information, come back and look at this chapter in the book and read these bulleted points. They do mention the 3 distinct formats. I kind of discussed what those are. Here they're discussing what each of the apps are. We're mainly covering 3 of these apps. We're going to cover Word, which is the word processing program used to create and edit, format, and share documents such as letters, reports, essays, and business plans. We are going to do Excel together. Spreadsheet software arranged with rows and columns used to perform calculations and analyze numerical data. Use Excel to prepare a budget or income statement, things of that nature. The final one that we'll cover in this class is PowerPoint. It's a presentation-based software. So if I really wanted to do this presentation instead of in a video, I'd maybe make a PowerPoint presentation out of it to teach to you what these different apps are. The Microsoft Office suite also includes Access, which is a database program. We just don't have time to teach it in our short period we have together. Plus, it is a different level of learning, and it's not as popular as it used to be in Office settings because a lot of Office settings have custom-made databases and stuff. There's other apps that come with Office, OneNote, Outlook, Publisher, Skype. You can read about those if you have interest. Publisher is kind of a fun one for making flyers and newsletters and stuff like that. It's very graphical. Microsoft accounts. A Microsoft account provides you with access to Microsoft settings, files, contacts, and more. If you're going to do Microsoft Online or download any version of Microsoft Office nowadays, you have to have a Microsoft account. You can use any email to open it, so don't worry. I'm now going to move into the rest of the book by clicking that little down arrow there, and it moves me to basically the next page of the book. And I'm going to close a little error message that it came up with for whatever reason. Doesn't matter, just close it. Common features in Microsoft Office apps. Now we're getting to some of the meat and bones of what we want you to be able to know, learn, and do. So Office 2019 application shares some frequently used features. These include the ribbon, quick access toolbar, and common commands. The ribbon. Within each application, you'll find the ribbon displayed along the top of the window. The ribbon contains tabs and commonly used buttons and other icons that are specific to the application. The buttons are arranged in groups within each tab, while the ribbon changes with each application. Some tabs, groups, and commands are common through the Microsoft Office suite. In this chapter, we're going to look at some of those. Word ribbon, and specifically the home, insert, design, and layout, references, mailings, and review tabs. The quick access toolbar. Each application has a one-line quick access toolbar located in the top left of the window. This contains some of your commonly used commands. So I'll point it out to you in a minute. Undo and redo, very, very important. When you need to go back one step, that's called undo. So all these apps have an undo command, and they also have redo. So if you go back too far, you can always go ahead again. But you can only do redo if you've undone. They look like these buttons, and they're in the upper left corner of most apps, okay, of the Office suite. When we get to the book and it shows these pink lines with kind of a gray box, they're telling you where in the app to find it. The quick access toolbar has this icon known as undo. It will have this icon called redo. We'll be using them in just a couple of minutes, but now that we see some steps, this is what the book is asking us to do. So I'm going to be focusing a lot from this point forward in the chapter with maybe a little less reading, but going through these steps with you in case you need a demonstration on it, or if you miss class, the first class, whatever, and want to see this again and review, you can. So it's called Develop Your Skills 01D1. That's actually not a 01, it's actually an 01 for overview. So sorry, that's 01-D1. I'm already in my computer, but it says in step 1, start Word and press enter to accept the default template. So there's a number of ways to start Word, which they're not telling you. 1 is if you have a desktop icon. 2 is if it's installed. When you click start, it's going to be down in the W's. So if I go down here to the W's, here's Microsoft Word, or you could always click down in the search box and search for it. So I'm going to just click it here in the start menu since I've opened the start menu. Now, your computer may open up with this window maximized. It may open up with a different size. It doesn't really matter, but we don't want it to really block the book. As you can see, it's blocking my book. In a Windows machine, I can just pull this off the left-hand side. It automatically snapped to the opposite half of the other one that I've already snapped earlier. Part of step 1, it says to click blank document. So I'm going to click blank document so it loads up. Now, it says type the following and then type the following and then press enter. So I'm just going to type the little sentence they have. Now my wording may look bigger than yours if you type, because in the bottom right corner, I've increased my zoom size, they call it, to 170%. So it's about 70% larger than it would normally be. I just want you to be able to see it. And I also like to not have to stress my eyes so much. So I'm just typing what I see here in step 2. My favorite word processing feature is inserting citations. And it said to press enter after I type that. Step 3 says now type this text. I also like Now, they didn't tell me to press enter after that line / sentence, whatever you'd like to call it. It's technically a sentence. It's not a well, it's a paragraph too, but it's a sentence. They didn't tell me to press enter, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. Step number 4 says drag with the mouse pointer over the phrase quick access toolbar to highlight it. So I point here where it says Q by quick access toolbar, hold down my finger and just drag over the words. Then step 5 says choose home font bold. So this is how they're going to show steps in the book. And this is where I don't like where the book mentioned concepts earlier, but they didn't really have you talk about them very much. So what I'm going to quickly do is point a few things out for you. Up here in the upper left, your quick access toolbar area is up here as well. Where mine says autosave, you may not have that, but I do. It depends which version of Microsoft Office you have. It's Word specifically in this case. This is the quick access toolbar with save, undo, redo. And this is because if you have a touch screen, you can tell your computer to be available for touchscreen. Below it are these words: file, home, insert, draw, etc. You may not have draw, doesn't matter, but those words home going towards the right are called tabs. Tabs. Within a tab, you have groups. So the tab makes this rectangle of buttons show up. So the tab controls this rectangle, which is called the ribbon. So this is called the home tab or the home ribbon. On the home ribbon, we have these groups: clipboard, font, paragraph, styles, etc. So if we go back and look at the step here in the book, it says choose home, that's the tab, font is the group, bold looks like this icon. So it's home, here's my font group, I don't have to click it. I can just point to the letter B for bold and click it and made that text darker, okay? I do realize and want to mention that if you're on a Macintosh machine, you don't get these little group names. So when you look at a step, sometimes when you're on the Mac, you have to understand this is usually the tab and that's usually the command. Okay. The last thing is usually the command. Step number 6 in the book says now apply italic formatting to the phrase inserting citations. So they don't really remind you that it's home font, it's next door to bold, it's this letter I for italics. Now follow these steps, step number 7, to undo more than one action at a time. Click the undo menu button. So when they say menu button, any command that has an extra little arrow on it, such as this command here, has that arrow over there, the arrow is the menu button. What they're asking me to do is to go up here to my undo, but don't just click that, click the tiny arrow pointing down. That's the menu. I click it, and it gives me a list of everything that's been done that I can undo. And it says point to the second step, bold, to select it and everything above it. So I point to the word bold. And step 8, part of step 7b says to go ahead and click when I point to that word bold. And you'll see that it no longer has the bold or the italic that was put on there. Step number 8 says click the redo button 2 times. So that's the arrow kind of looping to the right. I click it once, bold is back on. I click it twice, italic is back on. Step number 9 says click the undo button once to remove the italic. So I can click undo once, it takes the italic away. Okay. Step number 10 in the book here says keep Word open unless otherwise directed. Always keep any files or programs open at the end of an exercise. So once again, we're starting to see some reading now because there's no step numbers. So if you're not trying to do anything, you're just getting some learning before you get to try it. So common features on the file type, in this file tab, in this section, you'll learn about the features on the file tab that are used in a similar manner throughout multiple Office applications such as Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Here are a few of the things we're going to do. Backstage view. When you click File, it kind of covers your whole document, and then it makes it feel like your document's closed or whatever. It's not. The things that will be found in there are things like print, export, Word options, and a bunch of things like that. Program options, they don't have us do any, I don't think, in this chapter, but this allows you to really customize the way the app works. So if it's doing a behavior you don't like, you might want to look in the program options and see if you can tweak whatever it's doing that you don't necessarily like. An example of that might be that you don't like it capitalizing the first word of every sentence you type. You don't want it to automatically do it. I mean, it'd be a weird one to turn off, but it is an option that some people don't like. So you get to it by clicking File, then Options. Now, saving files. As you work in your file, you should save frequently to prevent data or information loss. Some people prefer to save important files every few minutes, while others save less frequent intervals. The save commands are found on the File tab, such as Save and Save As. You can use the Save command the first time you save a file, and when you do the Save As, screen will appear. You may choose to save files to your device, for example, on the hard drive in the Documents folder, or to your flash drive or in the cloud. You're going to save all your files in the student files that hopefully you've already had a chance to download. We hopefully will have done it before you watch this video. But if not, I do have a separate video on how to download them. I've also, if you're a student in the class, will have received an email with the link to the video to go ahead and watch it and try to do it before we have our first class. You can even set Word to save your work automatically whenever a specific interval of time has elapsed. A good rule of thumb is to save as often as you can afford to lose data. So if you've typed in a bit of data and you're afraid of losing it, you save. You don't wait for the computer and trust the computer is basically what they're saying. What they didn't describe very well, at least at the moment, is the difference between save and save as. When you're saving for the first time, they're the same thing. After a file has already been saved and named properly, save and save as are two very different things. Save means keep all my changes, keep it updated with the file name, wherever it's been saved, just keep it current, while save as means make a copy of my file. We are going to use save as many times during this book, but it's definitely less frequent than regular save or updating. Now we have some step numbers. Develop your skills, letter O1-D2. It says before you begin, download the student exercise files from your eLab course. They actually give you a link to it here. I've already done that. As I mentioned, I gave a small video on how to do that. And in my video, I have people such as yourselves, all students, put into your documents folder for easier access. So it says, in your open Word document, choose File to display the Backstage view and then click Save. So I'm going to do File, Save. And it says click the Browse button. So Browse. Browse is a handy way to do it. You can do some things to this channel or area over here, but Browse gets you right into what we call the Save window. In the Save As dialog box, click the New Folder button. The New Folder button is to the right of the Organize button, just under the address bar. But see, oh, I'm sorry, part of step 2, they said navigate to your file storage location. So you have to be careful not to jump the gun like I do sometimes and fully read the step. There's 2 parts to it. I didn't do part 2. Navigate to our file storage location. So for me, most of you, as I mentioned, I hope you put the folder already in your documents folder and you can just see your Office 2019 files. But I have mine, I have to go in a little deeper. So your path is not the same as mine right now. But you should have a folder something like this, Office 2019 student files. Might have your name in front of it, I don't know. But you're going to have something like that. You're going to double click it. And then I'm going to double click Overview because that's the chapter we're doing now. Now I'm going to double click Overview Chapter 1. So you definitely want to get into Overview Chapter 1 from the Overview folder from your Office folder. Okay? It says in the Save As dialog box, click the New Folder button. So if you're on a Windows machine, it's up here at the top. If you're on a Mac, I believe it's more at the bottom. I click New Folder, and they want me to name it Features. So I type in the word Features, and I just click away in an open spot. Now it actually says type the name and tap Enter twice. Well, I didn't tap Enter twice. I accidentally clicked away instead of pressing Enter. So I'm going to double click the Features folder to make sure I'm in the Features folder. It says in step 5, click in the file name box. So here where it says My Favorite Word, I click one time. So that all this wording is in blue, and I type on top of it, capital letter O, number 1, this is step 5, letter O, 1/D2 dash features. So I'm giving it the correct file name, and I'm making sure I know where it goes. And then that's what step 6 says to do, verify all that, and then click Save down here. Now it says close the file. When they say to close the file but not exit Microsoft Word, I really want you to get clear on this. Closing and exiting are not the same thing. Many people like to go click an X in the upper right corner. That's not what's being asked of you right now. They're asking you to click the word File and click the word Close. That leaves you in Microsoft Word. That's really, really important. So I'm going to continue this chapter in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll the book a little bit. Finding, searching, and opening files. So opening means bringing back a file that's already been made for you. That's really, really important, that open is a term for something that's been saved. Okay. So searching, opening, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to open a file from our storage location. You can also do it from searching straight in Windows. Down here where it says type here to search, you can even search there to access files. It just takes longer to search first if you know where it already is to navigate there. Sharing files via email, I'm not going to go over that with you because you have to have Outlook configured in your computer. Most people don't use Outlook for their email. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit because it doesn't help us very much. It says complete this exercise via the online web sim. So in this exercise, you'll share an open Word file by using the share. So we're going to do their simulation of it. I'm going to click this link that they give me one time, and it's opening on another tab. And it says in this web sim, I'm going to go ahead and maximize briefly just so you can see it easier. In this web sim, you'll share an open Word file using the share with people option that saves to the cloud. Click the start button when you're ready to begin. So in your ebook, you'll get this option. Double click this file to open it. Files must be saved to OneDrive in order to use the share with people function. So it says choose file, share, email, send as attachment. In the message window, click in the to box, and it types in the email address for you. Notice that the subject line has already been filled with the file name of the attached word. It says click in the message area here. They're going to type in a simulated message for us. And once again, I want to remind you, this doesn't work so well if you're not using the online storage or if you don't have Outlook configured in your computer. Both kind of play together. So this is an okay lesson to see the functionality, but it doesn't necessarily work well for us. Click the send button. With the share feature, you do not have to open your email application to attach the file, or it automatically opens the message window so you can share on the fly within the application. It says choose file, share. In here, you click to put the email address of the person you want to share with. That means they can try to edit it and things of that nature. Here you want to choose what access level they get, whether they can edit it or just look at it. See, there's only two choices. They want you to click Can Edit. You're going to click in here and put in a personal message. This is useful if you ever learn the Google Suite. That's how things work as well. It's all sharing related. And we click Share. Now it says we click File, click Save As, double click the OneDrive, click here to simulate changing the file name. Now we click Save, and that's the end of this little tutorial. So I'm going to bring it back down how it was. So I just wanted to go over that with you. I'm going to go back to the book here by closing this tab. Printing, if you're connected and have access to a printer, you should be able to print. Before you print, you should always run your spell and grammar check, which we're going to learn how to do. We find it from File Print. Templates are pre-made documents that give you a starting point for whatever it is you want to make. The most useful templates can be things like in Microsoft Word, maybe to make a flyer or a resume. It will give you a whole design and you just kind of click and type your information in. It can be pretty handy. It's got some nice color, some pictures, all that kind of stuff. You can get to the templates by doing File New. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to do Develop Your Skills 01-D4. Step number 1 says choose File New. Select the APA Style Report 6th edition. So File, New. Now, if I can't find the APA report really quickly, which sometimes that's the problem with the book like this, they're assuming the templates are in a really easy way to find. So here it is down here, APA Style Report 6th edition. I actually found it. I had to scroll down a little bit. You click on it once and then you click Create. Okay. Now it opened up a little researcher panel for me and a navigation panel. If you need to close those, you can just close it here. You can close that little X there to actually see more of the document. Step number 2 says choose File New, select the resume color template. So if they want us to have more than one document open, it's okay. So if I scroll down a little bit, I should find one called Resume Color Template. Unfortunately, they're not alphabetical, and I don't actually see it. So if you don't see it, that's okay. What you can do is you can click here where it says search for templates and type resume. Whoops, helps if I spell it right. Missed my E. Color. And do they have one called resume color? I don't see one really quick, so I don't think it really matters. Just choose one that you like the look of that's a resume. So I kind of like this blue spheres one. I'll click it. And I will click create because step 2 wanted me to create. Now, this sometimes happens to you. I'm just going to drag this one off the right-hand side also. I'm going to close this resume assistant. Step 3, choose File New. And here's a good little thing to learn. There's what they call Welcome to Word. This is actually a tutorial template, and they want me to click it. Let's click Create. And basically speaking, if you scroll down, they give you some little tutorial help about Microsoft Word. So feel free to check that out on your own machine. Remember, that was this one called Welcome to Word. Step 4 says close all open files without saving them. So I'm going to go to File, Close, File, Close, Don't Save, File, Close, Don't Save. Common features on the Home tab. So remember, these are the tab names up here. What are some of the common features? Such as cut, copy, paste using the clipboard. We did a tiny bit before. The common features, and there's some common formatting features. There's a few common alignment features in the paragraph group, but they're going to have us focus on cut, copy, paste type skills. So we're doing develop your skills, letter O1-D5. Oh, let me make sure. Did it say we were done with Word? Oh, exit Word. Good. So step 4, I had to go relook. I can just click the X there to exit out of Word altogether. And says in this exercise, you'll open a file created from an Excel template and become familiar with Excel a little bit. It says start Excel and click the Open Other Workbooks link under the recent menu. So I'm going to click Start, scroll down to my letter E's and click Excel. Once again, I want to drag it off the left-hand side of my screen. So it snaps to that half for me. It says Open Other Workbooks. So in other words, it's here under Open. Step 2, click Browse. And it says Navigate to your file storage location. So this would be the overview chapter again. So you're going to start hopefully in Documents and get into your Office student files. I'm going to double click this folder because this is where I put it. This one. Now this is a similar folder to what you have. Office 2019 student files. I just put my name in front of it. Overview is the chapter we're in. Chapter 1, Overview Chapter 1, double click it. And it's this one here called letter O1-D5 Clipboard. I double click it. Or I can click once and then click Open. Okay. If necessary, you might get a yellow bar up here that you have to click Enable Editing. That's what step 3 is saying. I didn't get the bar, so I don't have to. Step 4 says scroll down to display rows 19 through 25. So here's rows 19 down to 25. Okay. And then click the Let's Go button. I didn't actually have to scroll, but that's okay. It says in step 5, click the various worksheet tabs at the bottom of the Excel window. So down here at the bottom of the Excel window, I have one called Start, Fill, Analyze. These are all different spreadsheets. They call them worksheet tabs that if I click, they can have different bits of information on them. See how I click each one? And once again, this is a tutorial a little bit about Excel, even with the Learn More, and they give you some ways to get to some other Excel training. So it's really good. See, we started on Fill here a moment ago. Okay, the Office Clipboard. Located at the far left of the Home tab, so that's this group here, Clipboard group, we have the cut, copy, paste, and we have a fun tool called Format Painter, one of my favorites. Okay. So you can use the clipboard to quickly cut, copy, and paste items. Just remember, cut means move something from one spot to another. Copy means duplicate it, more than one of it, in one place to another. The general rule of thumb is you select, then you cut, or you copy, whichever your goal is. You get your cursor, or in this case Excel, the active cell, to the new square or cell, and then you paste. Okay. So I'm going to go down here. They mentioned it briefly here in the table. Clipboard features: cut, removes the original, and then paste it somewhere. Copy, copies the original, duplicates it, and you go paste it somewhere. Paste, what you're going to learn is there's lots of different paste options. Don't get so caught up on those at the moment, as this is just an overview. Format Painter is used because it applies character formatting to the text or to the paragraphs. What it can do is copy that formatting from one area to another. Okay? In order to copy something or cut something, they're telling us here where we look on the ribbon. From the Home tab, Clipboard group, you can cut. Shortcut key is Control-X on a Mac, Command-X. Copy, Home, Clipboard group, copy, or Control-C, Command-C on a Macintosh. Home, Clipboard, paste, or Control-V for victory. It's not the letter you think it is. It's V for victory. Okay? And once again on Mac, that'd be Command-V. Says in this exercise, we're going to use Excel. This is Develop Your Skills 01D6. In this exercise, we're going to copy data from the source destination to the target destination in a new worksheet tab, and cut data from its original location and paste it into the target location. So we're just practicing a cut and paste and a copy and paste type thing. Number 1 here, click the number 2 analysis worksheet tab at the bottom down here in the left kind of area. Follow these steps to view and select a specific part of the data. Now, based upon your zoom size, you might need to zoom out to see all of it, or you could scroll left and right. Okay, there's the left and right scroll bar down here. Step 2A says scroll down to display rows 4 to 20. Well, I see rows 4 to 20. I can see them all here. Scroll to the right to display columns C through F. So I do see columns C through F. I see everything. Click in cell C4 to select it, basically. And you'll notice it's different than other programs you might work in that have a cursor all the time. This just has what they call an active cell. Okay. And it says click in cell C4, which I've already done. Step D, hold the Shift key down and click square F19, this last number. Yeah, F19. Now I can let go of Shift and notice that the range of C4 to C19 is selected. As you can see, it matches the book. Step 4, choose Home, Clipboard, Copy. Home, Clipboard group, copy are the 2 pieces of paper, or it might even say the word copy on it. Notice how this particular app's different. It puts this blinking thing around it. That's normal. That's typical. Don't worry about it. Step 5, click the New Sheet button located at the bottom of the worksheet to create a new worksheet. That's this plus down here. See this plus? I click it once. Step 6, choose Home, Clipboard, Paste. That's this one here. Home, Clipboard group, paste. It says when you copy the cell contents, you can also copy the formats associated with the cells. In this case, you copied only the cell contents. Anytime you see these number symbols in a cell of Excel, it means the column is not wide enough to fit the contents. So it's okay. Don't worry about it. We don't have to fix it. They're just giving you an overview, a little bit of what might happen in Excel, a spreadsheet program. Step number 7 says click the Analyze Worksheet tab again. This moving border around here is still there. Step 8, press Escape on your keyboard to get that border to stop doing that. Step number 9, highlight C5 to F7. So in other words, if it helps you, click C5 once. Now hold down your mouse button and go to the right to F, down to row 7. So it's these first 3 people. And choose, this is step 9, Home, Clipboard, Cut. So Home, Clipboard group, Cut are the scissors. Step number 10, at the bottom of the worksheet, click the Sheet 1 Worksheet tab. So the Sheet 1 down here. And then select cell A17, which is right here. Step 11, choose Home, Clipboard, Paste. Home, Clipboard, Paste. And we have duplicates, that's okay, but we moved them from the other sheet. We're going to prove that in just a moment. Step number 2, click the number 2 Analyze Worksheet tab at the bottom of the worksheet. When we go back to Analyze, notice how the first 3 people are missing there? That's the difference between cut and copy. Very, very important. Step number 13, they want us to do a save as to rename this. So let's go ahead and do that just for practice on making a copy of the file. File. In my case, I have to choose save a copy, but your machine may say save as instead. I'm going to click browse because the book usually likes you to do that. You want to make sure you're in your overview chapter 1. And all they want us to do is change this D5 in the middle here to D6. So I clicked once after the 5 to have a cursor, backspace once, and type a 6. That's faster than typing the whole name, because if you leave it in blue like this, you can type over the whole thing, but that was a little faster in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and click Save so that we have a copy of this. Okay, it's giving me a message about the fact that my online storage will automatically save it and all that kind of stuff. Drag and drop. If you want to cut or copy text and then paste it in a different location on the same page, try using drag and drop instead. Whether you want to cut or copy text, the first step is to always select the desired text. The difference between cutting and copying in this method has to do with the control key. That is, to copy, you hold down control while moving from one location to the next. So we're going to try a little bit of this here with Develop Your Skills 01 D7. It says, choose File Save As to save the worksheet in your overview chapter 1 folder with the name 01 D7 drag. So we're going to go to File, Save As or Save a Copy, Browse. Now this time we're really changing the name a lot, so it might just be faster to type the whole thing, 01-D7-drag, but you can use whatever method you want to make sure you have that. Make sure it's your overview chapter 1 folder at the top. Click Save. Takes a second or two. Okay, step number 2, click the Analyze tab. Number 2, Analyze Worksheet tab if necessary. Oh, don't really need to, I'm on it, but I'll click it anyways. Click cell C8. So C8, hold down your Shift key, click F19. Okay. Position the mouse pointer over the top of the border of the selection so a 4-headed arrow appears. So when I get really close to this green line, look at that 4-headed arrow. Let me scroll to see step 5. It says point there when you have the 4-headed arrow, hold your finger down on the mouse and drag up to square C5 like this, and you moved it up. Isn't that really cool? So I'm going to do Save now by going to File, Save. Mine says Save a Copy because it's auto-saving, or you can always use this quick click button here in the upper left. Okay. Formatting text using the font group settings. Okay. So font group here, most of these commands are found in almost all the apps. They're found in all the apps we're going to do together, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Some of these alignment ones are as well. Where things get different are these other ones for each app that you're in. So I'm going to do Develop Your Skills 01D8. In this exercise, we're going to make the font size bigger, make text bold. We're going to do some formatting. Okay. So they want us to do yet another save as. Now, when we start to do our chapters after this, we won't do as many save as. They have you do them like every other page like this. And to me, it actually really gets annoying. So I'm going to do it this time now, just because the book wants us to. I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to make sure it's in my Word chapter 1. And in this case, I'll change the file name this way just to show you a different technique. I clicked at the very end of it. I started to erase what I wanted. They want it to be named 01-D8-format. I go ahead and click Save. because the book will have you'll notice you save as almost on every new little set of step numbers. That's not really how we build a document. So I don't want you to get habitually into a pattern of not understanding save or save as. So future chapters, we might not do as much of this. Step number 2, at the bottom of the worksheet, click the number 3 chart tab. Then highlight C5 to D16. So C5 to D16. So I pointed to C5, clicked, held down my mouse button, dragged over and down. Now step number 3 says choose home, font, increase font size. So that's home here in the font group. This one's called increase font size. Now if you rest on a command, it will tell you what it does. And it says to click it 2 times. 1, 2. Now it got up to size 14, as you can see in this box here. Step number 4, click cell C9, choose home, font, bold. So that's home, font, bold. You'll notice that the bold command now has kind of a darker gray on it, meaning that it's on. That's what they're telling you underneath step 4. Step 5, click cell C14. C14 is this one. And choose home font bold to toggle bold off. See how it's off? Select cell D6. D as in dog 6. Hold the control key down or command key on Mac and click cell D8, D9, D13, and D15. Okay. Step 7, choose home, font color menu button. So this is where it gets very, very important in our Office apps. Home, font. If I just click this A with the red underline, I'm going to get this color red. But if I want a different color, I got to get its menu. So anytime you get these buttons that have an extra arrow, the arrow means choices or a menu. That's really important that we read the steps carefully. So I click that menu button and then select red under the standard colors. So ironically, they want you to click the color it was, which is red, but I'm going to click here on red. Okay. Step number 8, highlight cells or select cells C8 to D8. And then click the dialog box launcher at the bottom right corner of the font group. So that's home, font. To the right of the group name is this funny little square. It's called a dialog box launcher. I'm going to click it. And it opens up a box to choose many, many different settings all at the same time without having to go to the ribbon all the time. So this is a really good technique to remember. And some of you who might have used older versions of Excel or even Word might recognize this kind of box. Step number 9 says click strike through under the effects category. And then click OK. Now, step number 10 is to copy this formatting. Copy the formatting, not the text and everything, just the formatting. So with C8 to D8 still selected, choose Home, this is step 10, Clipboard, Format Painter. Step 11, highlight cells C10 to D10. Isn't that cool? It brought that formatting over. Notice that the strike through formatting carried over. It says save the file, so I'm just going to click the quick save button up here. The mini toolbar. The mini toolbar is a floating toolbar that contains some of the more commonly used formatting buttons found on the Home tab and specific to the application. The mini toolbar appears at various times in all Office applications. So it's always after you highlight. Okay. The file options general, check show mini toolbar on selection. You can tell that to be turned off if you don't like it. So what they're saying is there's an option to turn it off. That's how you find it, is under File Options, General tab on the left. Develop your skills, O1, D9. In this exercise, we're going to use the mini toolbar in Excel to apply formatting. So once again, they ask you to do a save as and name it O1D9 toolbar. I'm just going to skip that. I don't think you need to really do it either. It doesn't make a huge difference. We're working in the same file. It says in step number 2, click the Sheet 1 tab at the bottom. Then select cell C4. So C4. Hold the control key and select cell C19. So C19, way down there. On the mini toolbar, my mini toolbar didn't show up, so I better check my options. I'm going to go to File. I have to move my picture here a little bit. Options. They take a second or two to load if it's the first time they're loading. And if you don't see it, you can always right-click. So I'm going to right-click just to expedite, because it does say to right-click. I apologize. Right-click cell C4. This is the mini toolbar they're talking about. And it says click bold on the mini toolbar, the B. And while the mini toolbar is still open, click the fill color, which is this yellow, click the menu button. Or do they not want the menu? No, they don't want the menu this time. So we could just click the yellow fill. Now they have yellow. And it says click any other cell to make that toolbar go away. Now we can save our changes. We're moving in now to find and replace. So this is a useful thing to look up a word or a phrase or something that's typed in your file and find where it occurs everywhere. Very useful, actually. I'm not going to do the save as, so this is develop your skills O1D10. Step number 2 says choose home, editing, find, and select. So home, editing group, find and select, and then click find. Step 3 tells me what I'm looking for, contoso, so I have to type that in the find what box. Click find next. You'll see it highlights a square that has it on the left there. It happens to be square A8. Click find next again, it goes to the second occurrence of it. Isn't that really cool? Step number 5, click the replace tab. So that's this little tab here at the top. Verify that contoso is still here. Replace with, step 6, type labyrinth. Step number 7, click replace all. And it says all done, we made 2 replacements. So click OK. This is step 8 to that message. Step 9, close the find and replace box. Step 10 is save our changes. And it says we can then close Excel. In other words, totally exit out Excel. So I'm going to close up Excel, and we're going to continue on here in the book. Common features on the review tab. In this section, you'll learn about features on the review tab that are used in similar manner throughout Microsoft applications. The most common of them are the spelling and grammar, and Thesaurus is pretty popular as well. So I'm going to do develop your skills O1-D11. In this case, we're going to use PowerPoint. So it's the third app we're actually going to use in our class. We get to get a little small overview of real quick. It's going to be pretty fresh, pretty icy. So it says start PowerPoint. So once again, how do we start an app? We go to start, or we can search. So this time I'm going to do search instead of the start button. And I'm going to start to type in PowerPoint. Here it suggests PowerPoint. I just click it, it opens PowerPoint right up. Once again, it's a little big on my screen, so I'm going to drag it off the left from the title bar. And they ask me to locate the Welcome to PowerPoint template. So I'm going to choose here to get to my templates. See that little arrow? And Welcome to PowerPoint. Click Create. Once again, it went huge. Drag it off the side there. Preview the various slides at the left. So these are all the different slides. If I click one, pretty cool. This is teaching you about PowerPoint. And this is some of the new stuff they have. They have this new morph feature that I haven't really done. I'll slide that picture out of the way. They got 3D graphics now, which are really cool. All this kind of stuff. Freshness. So PowerPoint's got really cool and what it can do now. Okay, so after we preview them, they want me to click back on slide 1. And it says in step 3 here, then click at the end of the word welcome. So I click here. Press backspace 2 times. They just want to show you how to edit. 6, and type EM. So you've misspelled the word welcome. Okay. Step 5 says click in a blank area at the bottom of the slide to deselect it. Okay. Notice the misspelling of the welcome displays with a red squiggly. Hard to tell, but there should be a red squiggly there if you click on it. Okay. There's the red squiggly. Right-click the misspelled word. So I just point anywhere in the misspelled word. Don't be too far to the right or too far to the left. Just point to the middle of the word. Make it simple. Right-click and you'll see they have the correct spelling, welcome. So left-click the correct spelling. Okay. Step number 7, choose Home, Slides, New Slide. So that's Home. A slides group. That's new to us. New slide. They didn't say menu, so they just mean this icon. Okay. Step number 8, type practice makes perfect in the text box placeholder. So that's here where it says click to add title. That should really be title placeholder. Their wording here should be not text box, but title. Okay. So we're going to type practice. Actually, they don't care about the title, so hold on just a second. I will follow their instruction more religiously. I'm going to click in the text box, and I'll just type it here. It really doesn't matter where you type it. It's hard to misspell how they want you to misspell it. And then press enter. And then it says type misspellings are noticeable. Okay, so now we're going to actually, it says also in the steps, so be careful when reading the steps. They sometimes have 2 things they need you to do. After I type, it says click slide 1 in this navigation pane. Step 10 says choose review proofing spelling. So we're going to a totally different tab now. Remember the tab names are up here, and the first word is review. So I got to click review. And there's a proofing group, spelling and grammar. So I click it and it opens up this panel on this side over here. It says, click the change button to correct the spelling of practice. See how practice, P-A-R, here is misspelled, but here it's correctly spelled? I click change. And it now says my spelling check is complete. So I click OK to get rid of that message. Okay. Oh, I didn't misspell misspellings like they wanted me to. My mistake, actually. So that's okay. Step 10, we did. Step 11, we did. Step 12, we've done. Okay, step 13, it says double-click prefix and type perfect. So now we're going to type perfect. Now, why it didn't catch on spell check is prefix is a real word, is what it says underneath step 14. Now we're going to do a save. So step 14, choose File, Save. Very importantly, we click Browse, unless the folder name is over here on the right. If for some reason the folder name was there, but it's not going to be now. I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to make my way in. From Documents, I go into this folder. I go into here. Then here's my Office 2019 student files. I'm going into Overview, Overview Chapter 1. I'm going to click where the file name is, and I'm going to name it letter O, capital O1, dash D11 dash PowerPoint. Now remember, we're saving everything from this overview chapter into the overview chapter folder. Don't worry about the other app names when doing this. Thesaurus is basically words that mean the same thing as another word. We're going to do a thesaurus right now. So let's do develop your skills O1-D12. It says click slide 1. Select the word tips. Choose Review Proofing Thesaurus. So Review Proofing Group Thesaurus. It opens up a panel on the right-hand side with words that mean the same thing as tips. Okay? It says click Guidelines to see a list of synonyms for the word guidelines. So you have to be careful here, because if you click Guidelines, you'll see it became the new lookup word. You see that? So in the Thesaurus pane, hover the mouse over the word rules. See how this arrow appears on the right side here? Click that arrow and you can choose Insert. See how we did that? Now close the Thesaurus pane. I'm not going to do the Save As here. Other common features, help. Help is a really important one, which you can get to by basically speaking. You can press the F1 key on your keyboard, or you could always click Help here. See where it has Help, and you can click Help. We're going to do some of this in just a moment, but that's the Help tab, down to Help. Okay. So they also have a Smart Lookup with the Insights pane. That's a new one. You can also do a screenshot. Take a screenshot is very popular these days if you're having problems on your machine. You can do screenshots outside of the Office app, so I don't normally do it from the Office apps myself. I use the tool called the snipping tool instead that's built into a Windows machine. On a Mac, you can just do the shortcut keys, Command-Shift, number 4, and draw a box around what you want to take a screenshot around. So it says save the presentation, and this is Develop Your Skills 01D13. Save the presentation into the Overview Chapter 1 folder as 01D13 Help. I'm not going to do that. But on the ribbon, it says go to Home Slides group. Point to the new slide button to see the name of the button with the keyboard tip. See how it has a keyboard tip of Control-M? See that? And then there's a Tell Me More link. See the Tell Me More? That's one way to get help on that command. That's what's really cool. You can get help on a particular command now. See, they even show things here, a little video, how to delete slides. Isn't that really cool? So on the ribbon to the right of the View tab, click the Tell Me What You Want to Do box. Tell me what you want to do box. I don't actually see that. So I'm to learn about adding, rearranging, and deleting slides. Oh, because they now show it. In my version, they show it all down here. You might have to click a button to see all this information if you're using an older version of Office. Okay. From the displayed list, point to Get Help on Insights pane. So let me see if they have Insights pane down here. They do not. So this is where help gets a little tricky. So in this box here where it says search help, I'm just going to type Insights pane. Get help into what you're looking for with Smart Lookup. That seems to be close to what they want. I can always click Show More, but I'll do the Get Smart Lookup. Yeah, that's the one they want. Okay. Step number 8. Read about the Insights pane. So this is the Insights pane. You just read about it. That's how you can get help. Scroll to the bottom of the help pane and click Read Article in Browser. They have that way down here. So I click it. It opens up my internet over here and gives me more detailed help. Basically the same help as you can see. But from here, you can get more support and everything you might need to do. I'm going to go back to the book here. Step number 10 says click the PowerPoint button on the taskbar to return to PowerPoint. So that's down here. You can click PowerPoint to return to it. Choose Home, Slides, New Slide. So Home, Slides group, New Slide. Choose Insert Images Screenshot. Insert Images group, Screenshot. Click Screen Clipping, this here, to display the browser window, and then drag over a portion of the browser window to take a screenshot. So that's this window here that has the book or whatever. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to do this. And they kind of wanted that to maybe be the help portion that you had on the internet. I just jumped away from there too early. So if I really wanted to, I could delete this. I can go back to my internet tab here to repeat the steps to kind of get this copied in there. So that was insert, that was images, screenshot, screen clipping. They want me to draw my box kind of around this stuff. And it shows back here on my slide. I'm going to go back to the book tab here. And it says save the presentation and then close PowerPoint. So that's save. I can exit PowerPoint. And this is the way the book kind of works from here, that I can go to next here. Sometimes they give you a little quiz, but in this case, we've now jumped to our new chapter, Word Chapter 1. So you'll get a video for this one in time. I hope this helps give you a nice little overview of the Microsoft Office apps and some of the common features. Thanks for watching.